All right, so I want to do a tutorial on selection. So this is just a reminder of the selection tools in ArcPro and ArcGIS and the two options of selecting by attributes and selecting by locations. The data for these, you can follow along. So I've added a link just in the comments of this video. So you can go ahead and download and unzip those data, bring them into ArcPro or whatever Arc version you're using, and go ahead and pause this video so that you can answer these questions yourself without me walking through. So first question in terms of our review of selection options is a question of find all of the mini ice rinks that are located in Middlesex County, Massachusetts. So here's where these data came from. I actually don't love that you can't see counties, so I'm going to actually change the symbology of this to be, I think I'm going to do that a slightly different way. I'm going to make it a thick black outline on top just so that we can see both the towns and the counties in here. And first, so we've got mini ice rinks in Middlesex County. So here's all of our ice rinks, or all of these dots. I don't care about towns, so maybe I'm just going to turn that off for now. First thing that I'm going to find is Middlesex County, right? So Middlesex is an attribute of counties, so hopefully. So if we're not sure, let's start by opening the attribute table and just taking a look at, okay, so here in my counties polygon, I have a county name. And hopefully there's going to be, oh, I see that there's Middlesex in there someplace. So there's at least one shape in here associated with Middlesex County. So that's the name of that field. The name of that column was county. So I'm going to select that over here, and I'm going to choose from my drop down that one. Okay, so now we have identified Middlesex County. Which is part of the way there, right? Now, the next thing that I want to do is find all of the ice rinks that are inside of Middlesex County. It would be real convenient if my ice rinks layer had county in it. I see it has town, but I don't see that it has county, right? If it had county, then I could just use a select by attributes, but it doesn't. Fortunately, I know the location, so let's do a select by location. The input features, this is the one that I want to create the selection in. This one for me is always confusing as to what's the input features and what's the selecting features. If you do it backwards, so what? Then you're going to figure out pretty quickly when something else gets selected that you're not trying to select. So if you do it backwards, then just go back and do it the other way instead, right? So don't worry too much if you get it wrong. That happens to me all the time. So I want ice rinks that intersect counties, and I'm going to create a new selection of ice rinks. And I don't have to do anything more at this point because I remember that one of the defaults for in Arc is that if anything is selected, then Arc will only operate on the selected features. So since I've already got Middlesex County selected, I can just go ahead and say, now find all of the ice rinks and counties, and Arc by default will only use the selected counties. Hopefully this is true. I'm going to use the apply button because I wasn't feeling super confident that I had these in the right places. But a bunch of ice rinks in Middlesex County just got selected. So that's a good sign. That's what I was looking for, right? Good. So now I have all of the ice rinks in Middlesex County. And then the second piece was, where are the mini ice rinks? Or how many of them, or which ones are they, right? So that mini ice rink is not a location. So hopefully that means it's an attribute. And since I've already looked at this, I know by looking around that there is a rink size option in here, and that it goes from full down to, oh, some minis in here. So that's an attribute, rink size. So I'm going to do a selection by attribute. I'm going to stick with my ice rinks. I'm going to look for my rink size is equal to mini. And then the key part here is the selection type. So the default here is a new selection. If I just hit apply here, then it will select all of the ice rinks in this shapefile that are mini, but that's not what I want because I just want the ones that are in Middlesex County, right? So what I want is actually to select a subset from the current selection. So of the ones that are already in Middlesex County, tell me the ones that are minis. All right, so I'm feeling confident. I'm going to go straight for apply. And now I can see a smaller subset of those has been selected. So if you've been following along, you should have found that there are 3 mini ice rinks in Middlesex County, and here is their information in terms of where they're located and their address and stuff like that. All right, so let's clear all of these selections so that we don't have to worry about accidentally selecting from a subset or something like that. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint because I had a second question on here. Question number 2 is find all, or tell me how many there are, public ice rinks that are within 10 miles of Shrewsbury. And Shrewsbury is a town in Massachusetts, so that's an important piece to remember. So if you're following along, feel free to pause this and tell me how many public ice rinks there are within 10 miles of Shrewsbury. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is a towns that we're interested in now, right? Because we care about Shrewsbury. We're no longer worrying about counties. So I'm just going to turn that off because I'm easily confused. And so why turn things on when you're not working with them? First thing I want to find is Shrewsbury. Let's just make sure that we know, okay, well, this is a very easy shapefile to work with because all it has in it is town. Presumably, Shrewsbury is one of those towns. So I'm going to go ahead and from towns, I'm going to create a new selection of town, and I can start typing this in and hopefully it'll, capture Shrewsbury. All right, where are you, Shrewsbury? Oh, there you are. Okay, good. So we've selected Shrewsbury. Now I want the ones that are within 10 miles of Shrewsbury, right? So let's continue with our selection. In this case, we want to select based on location. And the order of this, to some degree, doesn't matter. You could start with just the public ice rinks and then go to the ones within 10 miles of Shrewsbury, or you can start, as I'm doing, with the ones that are within 10 miles of Shrewsbury and then select the public ones. So I want to select from, in this case, I want my selection to be of the ice rinks. I want them not only intersecting, but within a distance of my towns. And again, because Shrewsbury is selected, I know that Arc is only going to operate on the selected features. And I want this to be within 10 miles. And yes, I do want a new selection because I don't have any ice rinks selected at this point. So, okay, that looks reasonable. I've selected some ice rinks in the environs of Shrewsbury. That looks good. There's not that many selected, so I could probably just go to the attribute table and look through to find out how many of those are public. But we can do that. First thing is to double check. So I've got 12 selected. Here they all are. I can see that it's facility type is my field, my column that has information about whether it's public versus school versus other things. So now I'm going to select from my ice rinks based on that attribute of facility type, and I want that to be public. But again, this is that tricky part where you don't want a new selection. A new selection would give you all of the public ice rinks. I instead want to select from the current selection, and I can apply that and see that I have 7. My Zoom stuff is getting on top of this, but there are 7 public ice rinks within 10 miles of Shrewsbury. A bunch of them are actually part of the same facilities. So if you were looking to go ice skating or play some hockey or something like that, and you are from Shrewsbury, those would be some good options. All right, good. So those are some reminders on selections. Hopefully you are following along just fine. And I'm going to do another tutorial on something else next.